This video is to let you know what you need to know now that you're picking up your one-to-one laptop here at SHS. First, I'll go through all of the policies and regulations that we follow in order to make sure your laptop is used properly. And then we'll talk about the basic care for your laptop so it's ready to use every day at school. One question that gets asked frequently is why students need a laptop in the first place. Well, the best way to think about it is like a textbook. There are a lot of neat things that teachers can do instructionally if every student has a laptop every day. So we make sure to give one to each student so that you're ready for the day at school. The laptop, power cords, and bag are still the property of the School District of Superior. So whenever we say your laptop, just remember we're talking about it as the laptop you get to use, not necessarily that it's yours to own and do whatever you'd like with. In that vein, it's important to remember that this is your laptop to use while you are a student here at SHS. If you happen to move to another school, we will need the laptop back before you move. Also, you can't sell it or give it away. It's yours to use here at school. And I'll talk about this more later, but don't let your friends use it, even for schoolwork. Basically, your laptop is a privilege. If you show you can't handle it for some reason, such as using it to bully other students or do something illegal, then we might have to take it back and find some different plan. But this is a pretty rare thing over the last few years we've needed to do, so just remember, don't do anything illegal or bad with your laptop. Your laptop will be supported by the IT professionals who help keep all of the district's computers running, so don't feel like you need to do anything to fix your computer. In fact, you never should. If you have some sort of problem, you can bring it into the SHS library and someone there will help you fix it. While you're at school and using our wireless, our content is filtered. The district does reserve the right to inspect the laptop if we need to, and we also can review your history, your keystrokes, and your files. What that means is if you type in My Little Pony into Google, we can at some point go back and find where you typed in My Little Pony, even if you've deleted your history and everything else and you think you've covered your tracks because you don't want people to know how much you like My Little Pony. This laptop is for you to use for school purposes. I often suggest students remember the grandma rule. If there's something you're doing on your computer that you'd be embarrassed if your grandma saw you doing it, then you probably shouldn't do it on your district computer. It's important to remember to keep your laptop charged up when you come to school every day. I know most students now come to school with their cell phones, and those never seem to be out of batteries. So at night when you're charging up your cell phone, just remember to also charge up the battery on your laptop. Then you'll be ready for a full day of school, and if your phone happens to run out of juice during the day, you can always charge it with the USB port on your laptop. There will be times during the school day where you'll need to use your laptops, and there may be times when staff ask you not to use your laptop. So just like anything else at school, as long as you're compliant about being asked not to use your laptop, you shouldn't have any troubles. One of the two primary ways students have lost their laptops since we've started the one-to-one program is putting them in a locker without a lock. A locker without a lock is not a locker. So please make sure you have a lock on your locker. Either put your laptop there when you're not using it, or keep it with you while you're at school. Don't leave it somewhere in the cafeteria in the hopes no one else will pick it up. Someone might, but it's still your responsibility that you have lost the laptop. So make sure to keep an eye on your laptop, and when you don't have it, lock it up. The other primary way people have lost their laptops is by letting a friend borrow it. Kid number 1 will forget their laptop and borrow kid number 2's laptop. Then kid number 1 goes and loses it, or gives it away, or something else. But kid number 2 is still on the hook for their own laptop. So if somebody doesn't have theirs, don't let them use yours. They will be able to find some other way to make it through the day. Don't give your laptop away. If you ever feel like you don't have a safe place to put your laptop, then please talk to the good folks in the SHS library. They'll find a way for you to pick up and drop off your laptop on a daily basis to make sure that it is safe 24 hours a day. The thing you do need to remember from kindergarten is to be smart and be nice. Some students find that it is easy to be mean to other kids while on their computer, and that's not what your computer's for. So please make sure you're not bullying or even mistreating somebody else online. And if somebody's doing that to you, please report it to a teacher or an administrator immediately. We can shut it down and fix it, but only if we know it's happening. Also, just like in kindergarten, remember not to talk to strangers. While you're on the district network, we do have content filters, and with your Gmail account, we do have monitoring. However, there are ways for strange people to get in contact with you through a computer, and you should know by now that you should not be in contact with those people. Taking care of your physical laptop is fairly easy as long as you follow some basic rules. Remember, this is the laptop that you're going to use for 4 years at SHS, and at the end of your senior year, you'll have the chance to buy back your laptop for very cheap. So if you take good care of it, you'll have a good laptop to use as you move on after high school. So first of all, remember to carry the laptop in the laptop bag we give you. It's specially designed to be padded so as your computer goes through the day, it doesn't get banged up. Please don't put any stickers or labels on the laptop itself, and don't remove any of the labels that have been put on there by the school district. We specifically need these if your computer needs to get sent in to HP to get fixed, and if you've done something with the stickers, it might make it difficult to get that done. At the end of each school year, we will take your laptop back, and over the summer, we will image it so that it's ready for the following school year. Remember that your laptop is covered by the accidental damage policy. It won't be covered if you intentionally damage it or try to fix it yourself. So, if you're having a problem, remember, bring it to the SHS library. Everyone is asked to pay $25 in order to cover the repairs for incidental damage on your laptop. However, if you lose your laptop entirely or intentionally damage it, it is the student's responsibility to replace or repair the laptop. They come in around $1,000 new, so that would be the price that if you destroy or lose your laptop, we would need you to pay before we gave you a second replacement laptop. Now we need to talk about the big no-nos, things that you shouldn't do with your laptop. So first of all, don't break any laws. Like I like to tell students, you should never break laws. It's a really bad idea to break laws with computers, but if you feel the need to do that, just don't use your district computer. Make sure that when you're using your computer, you're not sending, accessing, uploading, downloading, possessing, or distributing anything that's offensive, profane, threatening, pornographic, obscene, or sexually explicit. And please make sure that you aren't using your computer to plagiarize in any way. Again, I'll bring up the grammar rule. Don't do anything on your district laptop that you wouldn't do with your grandma watching you. You are not allowed by law to use your laptop to do things like run a business. So please make sure you're not starting a business with your district laptop. Make sure you're not distributing anyone's personal information for any reason over the internet, and that would include things like people's phone numbers, people's addresses, and the other things that could be used by someone online to find or harm a fellow student. And make sure you're not doing any sort of vandalism, which would be malicious intent or attempt to harm or destroy hardware, software, or data. There's a few things parents should know as their students get their laptops. First of all, it's good to always talk to your child about risks and responsibilities while using the laptop and the internet. We try to teach these lessons to students over their years here in Superior, but it's good to have reminders at home. Now let's talk about how you should take care of your computer so physically it's ready to run every day at school. First of all, you're going to power up your laptop and push Control-Alt-Delete as prompted on the screen. To log in, your username is your student ID number, which you all should know by this time. It is the same as your lunch number. And the first time you log in at the start of the year, your password will just be blank. You'll then be prompted to put in a new password. Make sure it's a password you won't forget, and make sure to keep it private. Now, whenever you log onto your laptop, you'll just use that same student ID number as your username and whatever password you created. If there's some program you need on your laptop that isn't already there, one way you can get it on your computer is to go to the Software Center. Our district policies have things set up on your computer, so generally speaking, you can't download programs. But the Software Center is a place you can go to try to find the ones that you need. So you can follow these steps. First, click on the Start menu, and in the Search Programs and Files field, start typing in Software Center. It'll be the thing at the very top, and you can just push Enter, and you'll see a list of possible programs that you could put on your laptop if you need to. Now, it's suggested not to just put everything on here because some of these are meant for elementary grades and other classes, but pretty much anything you should need should be on here. For instance, if your teacher said you needed Google Picasa, you would select this box right here, and in the lower right, hit Install Selected. Now, it's important to know you can only do this while you're on the district network. After a few seconds, it'll start downloading, and once it's done, it'll show that it is installed. Then you can start using that program. If for some reason there's a program that you'd like to have on your computer, but you don't see it in the Software Center, talk to someone in the library, and we might be able to add it to the Software Center. As you start work here at SHS, you're going to have a lot of files saved for your various classes. You've got a lot of options for where to save things, so we're going to ask that you're smart about it. First, you all now have a Google Drive, which we'll talk about logging in towards the end of this video. Google Drive is a great place to save things because whatever computer you're on around the world, whatever device you're on, you should be able to access the files in your Google Drive. The only drawback is that generally speaking, you need to be on the internet to access it. However, if you go in the Software Center, one thing you can add is Google Drive, and it will allow you to view and edit your Google Docs while you are offline. You also still have your H drive here at school that you can save things on. You could also use OneDrive, you could use a Jump Drive, a Dropbox. You could save things on your desktop. Generally speaking, it's a good idea, first of all, to create folders to keep your files organized. You should probably have at least one file for each class. It's also a very good idea to back up your information. If it's saved on your Google Drive and your H drive, you're probably fairly safe. But if it's just saved on your desktop or your C drive or somewhere like that, then if your computer gets damaged, it's possible that you'll lose your data. If you'd like to sync your H drive, so it will still work while you're not on the district network, follow these steps. Click the Start menu and select Computer. Go to your H drive and right-click it. Then you're going to select Always Available Offline, and if there's a check here, it will be available when you're not on the district network. There is a warning though. There are often syncing problems if you do this. So if you do, just be extra sure that every day you shut down your computer before you leave the district network, and you shut down again before entering the district's network. There are also some general computer safety things to follow to make sure your computer is well cared for. First of all, make sure your computer is either with you or in a locked locker at all times. Make sure not to leave your computer in a car. The extreme heat and extreme cold can quickly make the laptop battery cease to hold a charge as well as it should. Make sure to log off your computer when you're not using it. Make sure not to share any passwords with friends. I know students often think it's okay to share their password with their best friend, but as I like to remind students, the person who is your worst enemy is usually a former best friend. So make sure you keep your passwords to yourself unless you're sharing it with your parents so they can help monitor what you're doing on your computer. As always, it's not a good idea to eat while using your computer because you might spill or get things into the keyboard. And if you need to step away from your computer, a good trick is to use the Windows plus L. What that means is if you hold down the Windows button and push L, it will lock your screen and cause you to have to log back in. Make sure to shut down your computer entirely before you close the screen. Basically what that does is it allows your computer to fully shut down without making any problems in the memory inside the computer. It's also a good idea to completely shut down before you leave at the end of the day, and when you're returning to school to shut down your computer. The best analogy for changing networks without fully shutting down would be like if you went to bed at home and suddenly woke up in the middle of a third-hour class. You'd be disoriented, you might not know where you are, and you might be a little freaked out. The same happens to your computer. If you just close the lid at home, bring it to school, and open it up in the middle of the school's network, it's confused about where it is, and that's where you might lose things on your H drive or have other network issues. So remember, fully shut down before leaving school and fully shut down before coming back. While you're at school, you will be monitored using Insight. Insight is a program that you may be familiar with already that allows us to limit what you're doing on the web and to see what it is you're doing. If you're not in a particular class being monitored via Insight, then somebody in the library can see what's going on in your computer while you're at school. If your computer isn't working, there's some basic stuff you can try. First of all, if you just can't log on, try doing your password and your user ID number again. Sometimes students quickly type things in, they misspell, or they don't realize caps lock is on. This is a really common problem that you can fix on your own. You might need to refresh your screen. A good way to do that is by hitting F5. Sometimes things freeze up and a quick refresh will work wonders. If you can't log on to the internet, make sure you didn't bump the wireless button in the upper right-hand corner of your keyboard. It should be lit up in order to get on the internet. And as always, restarting your computer might solve your problem. If your computer is getting hot or it's running loudly, you might need to clean the fan. In that case, bring your computer to the library. In fact, if you have any trouble with your computer that you can't easily solve, bring it to the library. One of the librarians or librarian assistants might be able to help you fix the problem, and if they can't, they'll direct you to our IT support, and they can fix anything. They're wonderful people. If you have questions, don't hesitate to bring it in. It's better to get the right answer than to break your computer guessing what might fix it. Now we'll talk about your Google account quickly. Every student has a Google account for largely the same reasons you have a laptop, to help you with your schoolwork. You probably already have your own personal email account somewhere, and it's a good idea to keep things separate. Use your school account for schoolwork and your personal account for personal things. First, to get on your Google account, you're going to open up a web browser, either Explorer or Chrome. In the address box, type in google.com. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see Sign In. Click that button. Now you need to enter your email name. It's important to know that your email has already been created for you. You're not creating a new one. Your email name is your first name, then your last name at superior.k12.wi.us. There are no spaces or periods, and chances are, if your name, for instance, is Christopher, we haven't used the shortened version, so it will be Christopher, then your last name, not just Chris or something like that. So the example I've used is Sandy Mouskowitz, would be Sandy Mouskowitz at superior.k1.wi.us. And the first time you log in, your password is Spartans, all lowercase. Now you need to change your password. Make sure it's something you'll remember. Your teachers and other SHS staff can reset your password if you need, but it'd be nice if we didn't have to too often. Make sure it's something you're going to keep secret. The only person it makes sense to share with is your parents. Again, remember your best friend could end up being your worst enemy, so don't share your password with any other students. And it's good to have a password that's at least 8 characters long with a good mix of letters, numbers, and other symbols. So, thank you for your attention during this video. Remember, first of all, to use your laptop courteously and for your school purposes, not for your personal purposes. Make sure to keep your computer locked up and safe, and remember to shut it down before and after coming back. And finally, if you have any problems, make sure that you bring your laptop to the library. Have a good school year.